Hey there, commercial construction coffee talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David, of course, and I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction and Renovation magazine. Actually, I'm pulling out the archives for some of my episodes lately. This is from 2007 with 7-Eleven on the cover. Way back when the magazine used to look great, even as retail construction. I started my company back in 2001. That's what it was actually called. Then we went to commercial construction. And then after the economy fell off the cliff in 08, 10, or 11, I changed to renovation because that's what was happening. So I really go with commercial construction renovation, but it used to be retail construction. And anyway, it's always so nice, really cool to look at the archives, what they used to look like. And we went digital in August of 2021. We don't print the magazine anymore, but it's always nice to hold them in your hand as a publisher. And, over my 22 years, it's just really cool to see what they used to look like. But, man, it used to look great. But we're digital now. Had 29 million people hit our website last year. So, I've made the digital transformation out on the wild, wild web with 8 billion people on the planet surfing the web and finding me. It's just insane. So, anyway, I hope everybody's having a great week. We just finished the month of February, the Q1 last month. March Madness is upon us. You got pollen starting here in the South in Atlanta. Everything's kind of starting to turn green. Got the film of green all over my truck, and we're going to get rain here over the next couple of days, and it'll wash things off. But if you're in the South and you have allergies, March and April are probably the worst time you want to live here because it is just pollen. But by May, it's beautiful here. And, but all of a sudden in June, God flicks that humidity button and it's sizzling hot in the ATL. So, get ready for it. But, got some rain here. We like when the lake's full, so we'll take the water where we can get it. And all in all, a very busy week. I'm in production mode for my issue number 2 that'll post next week. And, we got all sorts of stuff in there. I've got my 6th annual project profile awards coming in. So if you have any projects out there that you think are worthy of some recognition, it can be new construction, renovation in any of the commercial categories that we cover, please, by all means, send us a project. Very simple. I have a form up on my website, or you can just email me and give me a paragraph on the description of your project and some of the other things that are on the submittal form and a JPEG pic, and you can be, possibly nominated to be covered in the magazine. And we like looking at everything. So if you have something cool, let the judge and my editor, I've got a couple other people on our judging staff. Anyway, let us decide it, if it's worthy. And send it to us. It's kind of like playing the lottery. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win. You don't send me something I can't look at, I can't put it in the magazine. So anyway, talk a little sports here real quick because I got my lacrosse sticks behind me. University of Denver got back on our winning ways. We beat Merrimack last weekend. It was nice to see win. So we're 2-2. University of Denver ice hockey. We swept those guys. So I think we're number 3 in the country, but we did win the league division. So we're seeded number 1 for the NCHC tournament that's coming up in a couple of weeks. And hopefully they'll win that and go into the NCAAs. And, we were national champions last year. So we're going, if we win another one this year, back to back, we'll have 10. We'll be the only university D1 ice hockey that has 10 national championships. So hopefully they'll keep their winning ways and get her done. But other than that, I got to give props. Last weekend, University of Denver alumni chapter locally had their alumni. We all went to the Swarm game. That's our indoor lacrosse team. And we were 0-7. And, of course, they knocked out 22 goals. We beat the Albany Firewolves 22-4, I think the final score was. What was really cool is afterwards, went down to the locker room and met Zach Miller, who was on the 2015 national championship team, and Ethan Walker, who did play for the Swarm, but was on the Albany team. And Ethan was the highest point scorer in Pio's lax history. So it was, but he got dinged up in the second quarter. And he didn't come in and get, I didn't get to meet him, but I got to meet Zach and we took some pictures, and it was just good to get together with some fellow Pios. I bleed crimson and gold, and my prep school too, we were Navy and gold. So, whether it's Falcon or Pios, I'm always rooting for them. But got a big weekend for Pio lacrosse. They're going to UNC. They got Yale the following week, and then Ohio State comes in, and they still got a serious road to hoe to get into the NCAA dance in May. So, but all you basketball guys, March Madness is almost upon us, so just hang in there. The brackets are coming. So enough with that. Let's talk some construction. So I've got a gentleman down in the Sunshine State, in the beautiful city on the western side of Florida on the Gulf in Tampa. His name is Moises Agami, and he's the CEO of Valor Capital. So, Moy, I think that's what I can call you, right? Moy, say hello to our listeners out there on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk.
Hey guys, hey everybody, and hey David. Nice to meet you formally, and really I have to congratulate you on your tremendous success. I've been following your videos and your magazine and the digital version, and you're doing amazing and really keeping everybody in good communication, in the loop, and informed of what's happening. And I really appreciate being able to be a part of your program. So thank you very much.
Oh no! Listen, the honor's mine. I have no ego. It's just, these podcasts. I was only going to do one a month back in 2020. I was going to do them on construction sites and interview people, and then the shutdown happened, and I started doing one a week, and then the digital, and I went from print to face to digital, and it's just an amazing, and it feels like yesterday I just did that. And yesterday was, March of 2020. I just had my summit in January in Jacksonville, and had the most people. It was my 10th anniversary event. I did my first cocktail party down in Coconut Grove. We were looking at an outdoor mall that was getting renovated, and I was in Milwaukee looking at hotels for my retreats that I was going to do in the fall, and then. Tom Hanks got the bug, and the shutdown happened, and they canceled all the, everything. March Madness that weekend. DU was going to Ohio State to play lacrosse, and I was going to go up for the game, and everything got canceled. And you thought it was going to be a couple of weeks, and it was going to be a couple of months, and here we are. Almost just about 3 years later, and we're still dealing with it. So it it's an amazing thing, but. I'll tell you, through all that, all the ups and downs, and the sleepless nights, and trying to figure out how you're going to weather the storm, I learned more about myself, my business, life in general that I appreciate. And the day I stop learning is the day I should go do something else. So
yeah.
Talking to people on this thing, that I had no idea that I was going to go. It's been an amazing adventure. So I appreciate you being one of those people out there that's been looking at them and looking at the magazine. So, and we're honored to have you because you have a really cool story to talk about. And so here's
Absolutely.
how we do it.
And if you ever want to do a shot at live shoot at a luxury development and see some of the stuff happening in real time, we'd love to host you.
It's on my to-do list. I went out and got all the equipment. So I was ready to have the mics and, go out and do these things, live. And, now I've done them digitally. And, but I'm bringing back my cocktail parties this year, and I'm going on the road. So I might do some of these things. So, when you throw stuff out there with me, I put it back on. I'm like a shark. I don't forget about anything. So, I might just take you up on that gig. All right.
You're very welcome. And we have several things, talking about, I know you like hockey. So I was looking up, the Lightning, Tampa Bay Lightning's been doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I know it's not college, but we've done pretty well for the last few years. And I was doing a little research as to how they've been doing. And we've won 37 games this season. And, the games are pretty amazing, pretty intense. And hey, come down. We'll do a shoot. We'll go to a hockey game. It'll be fun.
I played hockey and lacrosse. I should have been born in Canada. Everybody tells me I should have been born in Canada. I was born in the wrong country. So, our goalie, Corona, who is a senior this year, he's already been drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning, as a goalie. And it's fun when hockey season, when the playoff, the regular season is completely different than the playoffs. It's just it's so much faster. And it's like 2 or 3 levels above intensity. And, it's all about momentum. And listen, the Bolts, they're always up there. They always have a good team. And it's all about being, hopefully you go in there healthy, you have momentum, and you have a hot goalie, and that can really carry you all the way to hoist the cup. And in Atlanta, I was a ticket holder when the Thrashers were here for 11 years, and then they left. They went to Winnipeg. So we have a minor league team, but it's not the same thing as having an NHL team. You know, the both.
I mean, we don't have a good lacrosse team over here, but we've got hockey, and
You'd be amazed at how, you know what, out of all the schools in the state of Florida, there are 23 universities. Only one of them actually has is a D1 program, but the rest of them all have, some of them are, club teams. The lacrosse is excellent in Florida. And
really?
Oh yeah, it's huge. We actually, when I was at DU back in the day, during spring, we would either go out to the West Coast to do our tour, or we go down to Florida and we play some of the East Coast teams. But back then, there were no leagues and divisions and that kind of stuff. But as my son grew up, he was on. I was coach and we ran the select team. But we would go down to Florida and play in some tournaments. And the lacrosse down there is awesome. And so a lot like. If it wasn't for Title IX, and some of the other political stuff that the NCAA goes through, Florida State would have a D1 team. Florida, any of those big schools would have teams, and you have enough schools there that they could just have their own division in Florida. Because, like I said, there's 23 universities in the state, so it's just like up here. Georgia has a club team, Georgia Tech, Clemson, UNC State, I should say, the Wolfpack. All of those schools should have D1 teams, and it would just be unbelievable. And it's coming. They might have women's teams, but they don't have the men's teams. But all these schools should have both. They should all have lacrosse teams. And just like hockey, believe it or not, Georgia Tech's got a club team. University of Georgia has a hockey team. And, if all they have to do is build an arena, we can find some people to do that out there, I'm sure. And, they could have a D1 squad. So if ASU in the middle of the desert can have a D1 hockey team, I'm sure University of Georgia has the money to field one as well as Georgia Tech. And I know they've got some sheets of ice here locally that they can play on. So,
well, there you go. So we can go see some lacrosse then. But
yeah, we'll go watch those guys. Yeah, University of Tampa's got a really good lacrosse team. So,
oh, is that right? I've never seen it or really heard of it much down
here. Yeah, no, they've got it. Actually, I saw them come up and play in the club league. They were playing Vanderbilt. They played on when I was coaching Alpharetta High School. They played in our stadium, and it had to be turf. So they came up, and there was Vanderbilt, Tampa, Florida, and then I think it was University of South Florida. There were several Florida teams that came up and played in that slot, and that was the stadium that they played in. So look it up. They all have those teams. You'd be amazed. It's really good lacrosse. So let's talk construction.
Let's do it.
Here's how we do it. You got to tell your story, where you grew up, brothers, sisters, where you went to school, and how you ended up where you are today at Valor Capital. And then we'll talk about the last 3 years with the roller coaster and lessons learned, and how you weathered the storm. And then we'll talk about a couple of little aspects that your publicist had sent me. And then you'll leave one positive thought or phrase with our listeners and your contact info. So with that said, the floor is yours. Tell us your story.
All right. Well, I was born in Mexico City in Mexico. And I've lived about half my life on and off in the U.S., back and forth between Mexico and the U.S. I went to school here in the U.S., and I've done quite a bit of business over the years here. And, I'll never forget eating Captain Crunch when I was 3 years old in my grandma's kitchen here in St. Pete. And we had a blast over here. The beaches were great. We loved going to Chuck E. Cheese and other fun places. And I just had a great childhood over here. And, my family's been in real estate for a very long time, real estate development. You can look us up online. We've got a very large development company in Mexico, and we've done some of the biggest projects in Latin America. And we decided to start doing our real estate development here in the U.S. We started with some projects since 2010 and 12. And then we took it slow, and it's just kind of been taking off from there. So, we're very excited to be here in Tampa. I mean, this is the hot seat, it looks like. It's perfect timing for development here in Florida and construction. So we do development and we do our own construction. That's our legacy. That's the way we've always done it. And the reason is because we like to take care of the customer. We like to take care of the client and be there for them and take good care of them. And we find the best way to do it is being the one directly responsible for it. So that's a little bit of my background.
I was gonna say, when you grew up, did you go out to any of the projects with your father, or
I spent a lot of time out in the job sites and shoveling concrete way back when, and or trying to knock down walls with hammers.
Hey, demo's the best thing. I'll tell you, that's the funnest part.
That's right. That's right. So. I still try to do it once in a while, but those hammers seem to get heavier over time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love talking to people that it's a family business, because I know my family's been in construction since 1888, so it's in fifth generation. We were in demolition, recycling. Anyway, all the grandsons. I grew up outside of Philadelphia, so when you got your driver's license, you had to go work in the scrapyard. You had no choice. You get up 5 o'clock in the morning, you had to be there. I had my Uncle Frank as the super, and he was one tough son of a gun. And, I shoveled asbestos, I laid railroad tracks, I did welding. That was just the way it was. You got your license, you got to go into the scrapyard. Luckily, I had two of my cousins. We were all born in June. So I had two of my cousins. So we all got the treatment, together. And now they're running the business, But talking to people that have that heritage where it's family and you grew up on the job sites, I totally give you kudos, because it's a different mindset when it's a family business than it is like a big corporation, because you did have some sweat equity in there. And now you're taking it to you're continuing that success. So congratulations to yourself that you made it through.
Thank you. Yeah, it is definitely a different view, seeing it from the bottom up and from the top down. And as my cousin likes to say, it took us 40 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah, there you go. So talking, as we were talking, back 3 years ago, construction was booming. Their cranes were everywhere, and then everything just went kaput. No one really knew what the future was going to be. Talk about how your firm, weathered the storm, and some of the lessons that you learned. Maybe about your business or yourself, or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So the shutdown was a very interesting period. We saw everything just shutting down from one day to the next, very sudden. And we are in the luxury space here in the U.S. and we've been focusing on that. We found our niche in that. We like to bring that extra design, extra comfort, extra luxury, extra details to what we do. And it really has a lot to do with attention to detail and the man hours necessary to creating that luxury product, that extra mile to make it happen, on top of the materials and everything else. But we've got some great videos on our sites that talk about our projects and what we add to them. And I have to say that, as soon as that hit, we obviously were in the uncertainty of what do we do. And we had to make the decision whether to keep going or slow down or stop. And we decided to just keep going. I can't say we decided to double down, because we didn't, but we did decide to not shut down at all. And we maintained all of our staff. We did increase our size during the shutdown for sure. And we just kept going. We kept going like nothing happened. There were some times we were working from home or at a distance, but we just decided to keep going. And, when you're in the real estate development business and in the construction business, you really have to be able to surf the big waves. When you're in construction, you're gonna hit a bad cycle. It's gonna happen, whether it's in this project or the next. You're gonna get hit by a recession or a downturn or something strong. And if you can't surf the waves, you shouldn't get in the water. You know, it's like you got to be able to play the game and hold through. So we just decided it was one of those that was going to turn back around, and we just kept going nonstop. And there were some important lessons learned. I mean, we learned that people want to spend more time at home. We learned that people want to have more of a quality of life and spend more time with their loved ones. We learned that health and wellness are at the top of the list of importance. So we have been incorporating very important aspects about health and wellness into our projects. I mean, what can I say? Solar panels to make electricity cheaper, strong, HVAC systems that, with HEPA filters or large filters, UV lights, reverse ionization systems. I mean, we've been incorporating a lot of this stuff, direct air vents to every living unit so that you don't share the air with others. When we do condos, usually the air kind of circulates. Right. Mm-hmm. Put direct vents into every unit. Tons of different things, all the way from touchless entry systems, everything touchless, from the car to your front door, touchless. The elevator, you put your finger in front of the button, it lights up, the whole thing. So we learned that it's important to take care of health and wellness in many, many aspects. Of course, the quality of the materials, going to more natural materials, less synthetic stuff. In every way, we've been trying to figure out how to make life healthier, better, cleaner, and take good care of the time that people want to spend at home, which is significantly more than it was before. So definitely big lessons. That's on the product side. There's many other lessons on the organizational side and the work ethic and being able to work remote or working from the office. And we definitely found that we like to work from the office. We like to be in person, meet face to face, hug it out and get through the important things in the meetings. And that live personal touch is core to our company and to our values, as is construction. You can never do construction remote, right? Until that AI and robots really take over, maybe one day. It's a business where we have to get together, and we not only value that, but we celebrate it. We believe in it. So taking care of people at the job, increasing health and wellness. When the protection material came out, so we've incorporated a lot of these things and a lot of important campaigns to keep everybody safe and healthy.
A lot of companies that I've talked to over the last, several years doing this, the biggest thing that they were worried about was their company culture. All right, how am I going to, these people are going to work from home when they come back? Am I going to be able to maintain it? Do I do a hybrid? Do I let them, are they going to be able to be? And so many firms, you could be an architect, a contractor, all aspects. They found out that they actually can trust their people. Some people have to be in the office. That goes without saying, but that they found out that they're more productive, they get more done, they know that there's more to life than just work. And I think that's one of the biggest things that if you're out there and you didn't figure out that life is short, you just don't know what's you got to make the best of it. That people found out they had the most profitable years, and hearing you say that I actually grew, you grew your staff during this gig that's been going on for 3 years, that is such a positive thing. And people don't realize construction, people listen, they put their masks on, they got on the plane and they went and did their sites. You got to if you're in construction, you just roll with the punches. It's just it's a nitty-gritty, pick up your boots, pick up your big boy pants, and let's get her done. And I have the can-do attitude. The glass is half full, not half empty. It's partly sunny, it's not partly cloudy. And that whole aspect of everything you just said, and incorporating all of the really cool things into your projects, to make people that they probably don't even know that you even have, even though you
That's
market
right.
them that way. But you know what I mean? They're there. And but it's an amazing thing to hear all these, all these owners or whoever I've talked to on the show, or just in general on the phone or via email. This big thing is with technology, though. Like right now, we're talking. You're, an hour and 15-minute flight away from me. I could probably drive here from Atlanta, I don't know, 6-7 hours, depending on where you might be. And to get like maybe a 10 or 15-minute meeting, you could probably do that, but you still have to do face to face. And AI, listen, if you have a high rise and you want to have the rivets go completely straight, and you're putting in, let's say, ducts, and you want to make sure that they're perfectly straight. AI can do that, but so can a human. But eventually it'll probably be a robot in there. But someone's gonna have to build that robot. So it's all cyclical. Someone's gonna, human beings aren't gonna get. They're not gonna get fit. You're going to have to learn probably new trades and as technology improves. I just saw, I was on LinkedIn earlier today, and I saw I think it was a new Amazon grocery store where there was no staff, none. You walked in, you had your card, they checked you in, you pay. I mean, and this guy had a camera and he walked through the whole store and he goes, "This is what your grocery store is going to look like down the road. There's going to be no cashiers. It's just, you're going to go in and just shop."
Yeah, one of the things that I'm most proud of about construction is that construction and every building you see out there is man-made. It's handmade. It's not made by the cranes and the machines that every day there's more of them, but it's guys with their sleeves rolled up building it with their hands. Every column, every stucco wall, every piece of CMU. I mean, this stuff is being built by hand. Sure, are machines helping? They're helping. And I think, like you just said, yeah, will they be, putting screws in and putting stud walls up? Probably, but not yet. And I'm very proud of the fact that it's being done by hand, and it's really a form of art. And it's something to be proud of, I think there's a lot of tradesmen, a lot of fantastic tradespeople that are very proud of what they do and what they can accomplish. And, building straight walls or flat floors, these are things that I think man is dominated, and it's something to be proud of. So will we see it? I don't know. Probably in my lifetime, we're going to see a lot more of that, the 3D printed homes and probably little robotic arms coming in and, screwing things exactly 16 inches apart. We'll see.
When you talking about, doing things by hand, this magazine, believe it or not, I'm kind of just like you. I built it. I built it with myself. I did it with editorial. I did it with content. I did it with a web press. I did it with paper. I did it with ink. The post office had to deliver it. It had a bunch of human people touching it. Now, even though I'm digitally, and I might not using being ink and paper, I'm still a constructor. I constructed every month, whether it's editorial and and every month I put out a new building basically. And so even though I'm not doing, my cousins are running the construction firm, I'm still a manufacturer, and I'm just using different types of materials. And I still get a natural high after when I'm looking for the I remember when I pretty much when I left Nielsen right after 9/11, I went out on my own and rolled the dice in entrepreneurship. And I was in Las Vegas walking a show, and I was waiting for the overnight, to get my magazine. The first issue that I did, I had Home Depot on the cover, the director of construction, when Home Depot was, doing 140 stores a year. And and when I took it out of the box, just the fresh, the smell of ink, and I looked at it and I was like, oh man, I built this, and I was so, and I have never ever lost that. After all the issues I've done over the last 22 years, I'm like, man, this looks great. So now even when I get the digital, I can't wait for my artist to send it to me so I can download it and go, hey, that looks really cool. And I always give him kudos. Brent, man, you're the best artist ever, man. You make everything look so cool. And my editor is awesome too. It makes everything sound good. I mean, he redlines my publisher column all the time. I'm like, go for it, man. Just make it sound great, And
yeah, I have to say, the other day, one of my guys put in one of our chats this poem about Valor Capital, this beautiful poem. It was incredibly written. And one of the guys says, "Oh, that's Chat GPT." I'm like, "No way, impossible." It had all of our values, our beliefs. It was all incorporated in there, and it was done by Chat GPT. So there I went, embarrassed myself, not knowing that I mean the capabilities of that AI stuff. It's getting out of control.
I'm a digital guy, so I get people all over the world will send me content, and they'll ask me what my guidelines are or whatever, and I tell them because I'm a guy that I like technology, but if you want something posted, on the web, the AI thing, you can, people, a lot of these publicists and people that are bloggers, they call themselves bloggers. I don't, whatever you want to call them. Some of these people are cutting the corners. And they're using AI so they don't have to use their mind to figure out these press releases because AI or chat, it can do it. And I put in my guidelines, hey, we don't want any AI software. We want this stuff done by right up here. We want this stuff
right.
out of here because,
I do have to tell you, David, I agree with that. It's us that have the life and the energy and the creativity. But on the other hand, I've learned over time, it's good to be an early adopter of technology.
Oh yeah.
If you jump in there and you start doing it, it's like, architectural firms that incorporated Revit early on, they've got their leaps and bounds ahead of the guys who are just trying to get their wits around it. Or us in technology. I mean, there's a lot of technology out there now for homes, in Wi-Fi, in Bluetooth, and in security systems for homes, for Google Home or Alexa, and Wi-Fi this and the other. So there's a lot of tech out there, and when you don't incorporate it, you tend to fall behind. And I have to tell you, we really pride ourselves in developing new, creative, beautiful luxury things that you've never seen before, like new things. And for that, we need to adopt technology early on. So, we don't build the same residence in 30 years. Sorry, we don't build the same hotel 30 years later, and it looks the same. We build something new and fresh every time.
I'm always like, my son, he's a car guy. So and a new car is like, oh, Dad, check this out. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do it right away. I want them to work the kinks out because I know anything new is going to have something that you're going to have to tweak or whatever it might be. And so I'm going to let someone else kind of be the guinea pig. And then when it's ready for me to adopt it, and so forth, I'm going to go do it. So AI, it's just coming, it's coming into publishing and people are using it for content and copywriting and all this stuff. And I'm still old school. Just like when I was digital, when I had to make the decision to go digital, I mean, it was a dicey proposition. Talk about sitting up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get rid of the magazine. How am I going to keep my advertiser? Are people going to read it? And then I looked at my son. He doesn't even know what a magazine is. He's going to look at everything on his phone or his tablet or whatever. They don't, and I was like, and to be honest with you, okay, I'm going to be 60 years old this year. So a lot of people I've known for the last 20 years are starting to retire. And those are the guys that, nothing against you, love you guys out there. And ladies too, that, they were the ones that really liked having the magazine. But the newer echelon, the youngsters that are coming in here that are, replacing and, going to continue the business on, those are the ones that,
don't make me hold it, right? Don't give me a magazine I need to carry around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with you.
Yeah. So, for me, I embrace it, but I'm just like you. You have to be very careful on how it's intertwined, with whatever you're doing. And but just like this, Zoom was there before, when the roller coaster started, but now everybody tells, oh, I can't do any more Zooms. But you know what? Instead of driving an hour and a half for a 10-minute meeting, you're going to do this. When the important meetings come in, you're going to get on a plane or you're going to drive and you're going to go do that thing. So let's talk.
Hey, I'll give you a datum that shocked me. About 5 years ago, I think it was 2018, I found out that more people were still watching VHS movies than CD movies.
Yeah, Blu-ray.
That was 5 years ago. Now, I would think today nobody's watching even a CD movie. It's all digital, right? It's all streaming. But I'm telling you, technology takes a long time to be adopted around the world. And while here in the US, we may adopt technologies faster, you've got all kinds of countries all over the world that take a long time for this to really sink in and take place. So, even if you think you're late in adopting technology, I can tell you're probably at the forefront, and we are probably at the forefront. I think, you need to do it right. You need to do it smart, but we got to do it. There's no choice around it.
Let's talk about, the labor shortage and the Hispanic component that people don't realize how important it is, from, your heritage and so forth. And that's what really intrigued me to have you on. So I'm going to let you, give us your thoughts on that.
The labor shortage was severe. I think there was a big labor shortage, not just for us in construction, but in the whole supply chain. The supply chain was drastically affected, and we're still seeing some lagging effects of it. Still some materials out there that we're struggling to get, and some things are still way out there. And these effects have run deep, and I think they're very much part of the inflationary cycle that we're seeing. Besides the Fed printing a whole bunch of money like crazy, having this labor shortage and material shortage has made things more expensive. And I'm not sure how long it'll take for that cycle to really make it all the way back down in construction, because we're still seeing some of the prices still elevated. We are seeing many of them come back down. But, it's gotten to a point where you can't build a home for the price that you need to sell it at. So that's why we see a lot of projects slowing down, a lot of development firms slowing down, the construction world slowing down. I'm not sure what it's like there in Atlanta, but here in Florida, even with the amount of migration that we're getting, there's a lot of slowdown or projects on hold and or even canceled. And that's a horrible thing to see, because I think real estate is the largest industry in the world. We're the largest industry in this country. More than cars, more than anything, and it feeds a lot of people, and it carries a lot of people in its back, and we like to see that expanding. And the Latin part of it is booming. I see more and more Latin firms coming up. I was at a topping out party of a very important hotel just last week, and there were about 800 workers out there. And I got to say, when they asked how many were Latin and Hispanic, I think more than 3/4 of the crowd raised their hands. Many from Mexico, but there was Peru, Honduras, Ecuador, everywhere, Venezuela. And the communities is a hardworking community. I think it has to do with the fact that, there's a lot of immigrants that are finding their place in the U.S. and trying to be of value and find their place in the group without feeling entitled to it. They don't. I think that most immigrants don't have this feeling of entitlement of. And I got to tell you, I've got guys out there working like crazy and, putting in long hours, proud of their work. And, I know that in Tampa, I've got some wild statistics about this stuff, but Latin firms have grown in number of personnel about more than 50%, whereas the average of construction firms has grown 8%. So I see a big boom, both in the statistics and in my own experience. And, I think it's something that I'm proud of, for sure, to be a part of that group, and happy to employ Latin workers, Latin people, and companies, and Latin-owned businesses, and everyone. But it's a group that works hard. I think everybody in construction appreciates it, and proud to be a part of it.
Hey, you know what? It's just like an athletic team. You're going to have all walks of life that come in there and make up the team. And, I don't care if they're French Canadian or if they're Europeans or whatever. If we're winning games, and listen, you can win it pretty or you can win ugly. As long as you're getting the W, it's okay, because it's a W. So, and believe me, look, being a coach with my son all those years, hockey, lacrosse, taekwondo, all that stuff. I saw all walks of life, but the bottom line is, you all have that same goal. You all want to win. So,
That's right.
and but I'll tell you, the Latin American spirit is alive and well in this country. And my wife's an interior designer. Her crew, most of them are from Latin America. Yeah, and man, those guys show up. They work their tail off, and she takes care of them. She buys them lunch, because labor is such scarcity. If you don't treat those guys well, they're going to get pulled, yanked someplace else. And
Right.
it's so I totally appreciate it. And some of the craftsmanship on some of the projects that she's done, it's on the residential side, that I see, because I see the homes, when I'll go over there and look at the demo, and then we'll see the finished product. I'm like, man, that looks beautiful. God willing that that they came here. Like my listen, I'm a Russian Jew. My grandparent, my great grandfather on my father's side, they came on to Ellis Island with like a couple of pennies, and they built a huge furniture manufacturing gig. Same thing with on my mother's side. They were Russian Jews too. They came over way back when. So I'm basically an immigrant, and came to the country, but they all worked. They started with nothing, but they built it up, brought the kids up with it, took it over, and listened that. And it's it's all about the American. It's a good, there still is capitalism left in the country, and
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I'll tell you a funny thing. We're Lebanese Jews. I mean, the fact is that the boats that my grandparents came in landed in Mexico. Yours docked in the U.S. So that's that's the only difference, man. Because it's same thing. So we do live in a global world, and I think we need to build community and build a global economy, a global melting pot that's happening here, and be a part of it and add to it rather than take away from it. So yeah, Mexican, Jewish. I mean, what more can I say? So
hey,
you had asked me about a phrase that might be significant.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you were going to leave our audience with a positive thought or phrase, what would it be?
I was thinking about it quite a bit. I have quite a few that I use to kind of guide my life, these phrases that I use. But one that really stood out for me during this whole shutdown was one by this poet that I love. His name's Maltby Davenport Babcock. And he says, it's a bit poetic, but here we go. He says, "Be strong. It matters not how deep entrenched the wrong, how hard the battle goes, the day how long. Faint not, fight on, tomorrow comes the song." And I really take that to heart, because I've lived through tough times, and I'm sure you have, and as we have all. And, it really has to do with that spirit of keeping it up, play the game to the fullest. Tomorrow comes a song. It always comes. And, we got to keep it light, keep it healthy, keep it fun. And I got to say, we're booming here in Florida. I mean, I have to thank our governor here. I think he's the best real estate agent in Florida, because he keeps bringing more and more people down to live over here. And we're booming. I mean, in fact, we're hiring. So, if any of you good construction guys or project development guys are out there, please reach out. We're expanding significantly. We've got 1.3 million square feet under development right now, and we need a lot of very strong hands to build this stuff, not just in the construction, but in the development side, and the architectural side, and the project management side, in all of it. So reach out.
If someone wanted to reach out to you, how would they contact you? If they just wanted to bounce some questions off you, how would they reach out to you?
Yes, you can send me an email. My email is Moises, Moises, at Valor C, VALORC as in capital, valorc.com, Moises at valorc.com, or reach out. You can call us. Our number here at the office is 727-441-2144, or visit our websites, valorc.com, or our latest project, serenabythesea.com. So take a look and reach out, and happy to join the conversation.
So listen, everybody, if if you're in a state that's not booming and you want to make a change, hey, I can't think of a worse place to end up in Florida. Come on down and give Moises a call on Valor Capital, and you never know where you might end up. And listen, that poem was great. I always like talking. I always put business with athletics, and the bottom line is, as long as you don't leave anything on the field when the buzzer ends, winning or losing, as long as you left it all on there, and you can go home, get in the shower, and then look yourself in the mirror and know that you did your best. Tomorrow's another day, and the sun's going to rise, and you're going to do it all over again. So, my only saying is, give it your all and just get her done, and have fun. If you're not having fun, go do something else, because you're not going to be any help to anybody. You got to have fun, enjoy your life, smile. Don't surround yourself with negative people. Don't have time for it. So, really cool poem. I'm going to look that guy up. So
yeah. Malby Davenport Babcock. I've been reading him since I was in high school. So.
Well, that's awesome. Hey, listen, if anyone gets me, you can reach me at davidc@ccr-mag.com. Like I said, I've got my 6th annual Project Profile Awards coming up. Shoot me an email. I'll send you the form. It's up on the website. It's going to be, I've got a form in the magazine. We'd love to know about your project, and you never know if you might end up in there. And listen, you can send me anything. I'll put it, we have so many different social media channels, Twitter, LinkedIn, on the site, charity golf tournaments, personnel announcements, new openings on any of the, we look at everything. And I look at everything, and I'll come back to you. And if I do post it, I'll send you the link. It's a win-win. We love when you share stuff. So send it. We'll take a look. So Moises, pleasure meeting you. And I look forward to coming down and meeting you in person. I do have I'm coming down. I was just in Orlando for the restaurant show a couple of weeks ago, but I know I have a gig in Orlando, a reception, and I might stay down there for a couple of days and make the rounds, and we'll get together. We'll meet, and hopefully, if I'll tell you, the NCAAs, the Final Four in ice hockey are in Tampa this year. So last Saturday night, one of my DU alums said, "Hey, are you going to go down to Tampa if DU gets in the Final Four?" I said, "Yeah, baby. It's not. I can drive that, and I know, normally last year was in Boston. They've been running, but this year it's in Tampa, and we have a really good team." So I said, "Listen, we got to get through the first tourney to get into the second one, and then if they make it in, I'll go down and I'll find some tickets and I'll go to the game. So you might see me in the next couple months."
I love the idea, David. Please welcome.
Yeah, and you wait till you see the pile fans.
Let me know, and I can help you maybe find some of those tickets. And
Denver Boone, Denver Boone, they got the mascot. It's crazy. And DU, the fans, we travel good. We don't have a football team. We have a hockey team, lacrosse, but we don't have a football team. So we travel and support our guys. So, but there you go. So go Piles. Come on, go to Tampa, because I want to go to the game. Number 10, bring it home. All right. So listen, everybody, if you're out there in the construction site, be safe, make sure you stay hydrated, and have fun. We're going to the end of Q1. Before you know, it's going to be the end of the year. So everybody, have a great rest of the week. Moy, pleasure meeting you. Say goodbye from Tampa.
Thanks, David. Thanks so much. And I look forward to meeting you in person.
Absolutely.
Big hug. Big shutdown hug. We'll hug it out.
And no, listen, I'm no fist pump, shake hand, hug, and for all you, I'm going to sign off from Sugar Hill, just below the Buford Dam on Lake Lanier. It's about 25 miles north of downtown. And we will see you all next time on another episode of Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. And Moy, look forward to seeing you, man. All right. Thank you so much for the time. Thanks. Ciao, everybody. See ya.
Bye.